Hello, everyone. Oh, my word. This is the 50th episode of the Senior Pickleball Tips podcast, and I have never been so excited. I am meeting with Lee Whitwell. Now, most of you, I'm sure, know who Lee Whitwell is, but just to let you know, she's the number one ranked female senior pro in the world and is the top ranked international player. She's a respected coach, a pickleball club consultant, and in both 2021 and 2022, she was, and in both 2021 and 2022, she was voted the most valuable player of Major League Pickleball. She's the next gen national team coach. She's also the founder, alongside her business partner and friend Angela Farmer, of Change Her Change Her events, and we'll be talking about that a bit later. She's definitely an inspiration both on and off the court. She seems to captivate audiences with her humor and crowd engagement, and I am just so thrilled to have her here. So, Lee, welcome, welcome. How are you doing?
Well, after that intro, I don't know. It's the hard act to follow up to. Thanks so much for having me and your 50th episode. Congratulations.
Thank
And
you.
also congratulations on the pickleball community that you've built. That's phenomenal.
Yeah, the Senior Pickleball Tips Facebook groups reached 136,000, so that's pretty good going, isn't it? That's pretty good going,
Absolutely.
and I know you'll be interested in this. Although 80% of our members are US based, it is all around the world. We're looking at about 64 different countries. And that's something that I'm particularly keen on, to sort of spread that around the globe. And I know you are as well.
Definitely, most definitely.
Right. I always start with the same question, which is, Lee, what's your pickleball story? I know you've probably gone through this quite a bit. I'm particularly interested because I know you're from Gibraltar. So I'm particularly interested in sort of, your childhood there, racket sports there. Was your childhood in Gibraltar? Was it in UK? Because you are a Brit, aren't you?
I am a
Sort of.
Brit. Yes, I am a Brit, and I'm going to keep saying I'm a Brit till I'm eligible to play for the English national team. Um, no, I mean, I grew up in Gibraltar, right? Played all kinds of sports there. Tennis was, tennis, basketball, volleyball were probably the main three. At 16, I left Gibraltar to come to the UK. I did my A levels in the UK. I was playing tennis. I was at Queenswood. And then from there, I went to the States to on a tennis scholarship. Played tennis and volleyball in college. Did the US thing, and
Yeah.
after graduating, played pro tennis for a bit. And then my last tournament was in San Diego, and that's where sort of the second half of my life began. But no, growing up in Gibraltar was phenomenal. I love the sense of community, and for me, I think what the way I grew up in Gibraltar, and because it's very small, it's 3.5 square miles. Pickleball had a lot of similarities to that sense of community, sense of belonging. And I think that's really what drew me to pickleball. But yeah, it's no secret that a really good friend of mine asked me, Lisa Palsik, asked me to play in a tournament. And I said, sure. And she's like, by the way, it's not tennis. This is when I lived in Bend, Oregon. And I'm like, well, what is it? And she's like, it's pickleball. I'm like, I'm not, definitely not playing a sport my dead grandma could play, right? And we went back and forth for about half an hour. She tried to convince me, told me how amazing the sport was. And I'm like, yeah, yeah, whatever. And then she's like, look, Lee, I'll buy you a case of beer. I'm like, okay, fine, I'm in. You should have led with that. So,
That
I
did
mean,
it. That did it for
yeah,
you.
you know, um, I knew I had a price. I didn't realize I was that cheap. But a case of beer got me into pickleball, and I'm forever thankful for her for not giving up on getting me to play with her.
That's fantastic. So obviously there are some people who inspired you, which was fantastic. Uh, so how was that move to the US? That kind of change from sort of the British aspects of life to the US aspects of life. I can imagine you moving into it quite easily, but how did that go?
I mean, I'm thankful social media wasn't around in the late 1900s because I think we'd all probably be very unemployable. And it's I'm thankful we came out of we survived the 90s and the early 2000s unscathed. It was a bit of a culture shock, I will say. Um, but you assimilate, you get on with it, and I think like any British or any foreign athlete going to the States for collegiate sports, you have a built-in friendship group already because you're part of a team. So it's not those jitters of, oh, well, will I fit in? Will I know
Yeah.
anybody? Sort of go away, because you will fit in. You're part of a team. You've been given a scholarship to play on a team. You've been deemed good enough. So if you fail, it's on you, because you've basically been given a support system to thrive. From built-in friends to tutors to getting your classes scheduled for you, getting everything done. I mean, it's pretty much hand holding the whole way through. At least it was back then. So yeah, I mean, it was a pretty easy assimilation. Um, but now it's time to come back home.
Ah, that's interesting. Yeah. So I was going to ask you, what do you miss? What do you miss about home? Is it Marmite, HP sauce? What is it? Is it
Um,
village cricket? What is there? Any
yeah,
particular
definitely.
thing?
Like a good fish and chips. That's
Oh yeah, yeah,
y- you know, uh, just meeting up, but having a local,
yeah,
popping in
yeah,
down the local. It's like
yeah,
that. I feel like the States is such a big country that you don't create that sort of community is hard to create.
yeah,
Obviously, I have a large family. I miss my family, but I miss the community aspect of life that I think we get a lot more across the pond.
yeah.
And I think, I mean, that's also one of the reasons why I'm thankful for pickleball, because it's brought that community aspect sort of into it. Not at the same degree, but definitely brought a lot more community to my life.
I can see how that sense of community within the sport is reflected in you because I met you at the English Open in Telford last summer,
Hmm.
and wherever you went, there was a little swarm of people kind of following you around and trying to get in and say hello. One of those people was me actually, and I managed to say hello, which was very nice, and we had a bit
I'm
of a
glad
chat.
you did.
Thank you. So you bring that sense of community with you, I think. Do you kind of feel that?
I mean, I'd like to think so. Look, I know I'm very fortunate to have the platform that I have. I'm also very well aware that the only reason I have a platform is because professional pickleball tournaments sit on top of amateur tournaments. You know, that's why we have butts in seats. So wherever I go, it's very important to me to bring people along on that journey with me. I did my master's in psychology, and I studied the third space, and we talk about that a little bit. And I wrote a book about it, about how pickleball's become that third space for us, with that space of belonging. And to me, it's pickleball's given me so much that I want, if it gives people just 10% of what it's given me, you're already so much richer. And
Yeah.
and I really want that for people, and I want to bring them on this journey with me, and I want to make them feel a part of what I'm doing, because that is very important to me, because by myself I'm nobody. Right? The only
But
reason
on
I
it,
have somewhat of a name and a platform is because of everybody else. So I'm very thankful for that, and I'll never
but
forget.
honestly, as an observer, I mean, it does shine out of you. So
Oh,
and
thank
I
you.
mean that as an absolute compliment, absolute
Thank you
compliment.
very much. I appreciate that.
Um, okay, sticking with your pickleball just for a second. Um, which country do you represent at the moment?
I always
Are you?
represent, but no, Gibraltar always,
Yeah,
right? And then, hopefully England, if they'll have
good.
me. But no, always Brit. I will always represent Gibraltar, wherever I go. I'm a proud Gibraltarian. I will bleed red and white.
Fantastic. Absolutely brilliant. Okay, good. I just got a supplementary question. Um, you're left-handed. How I'm not left-handed. How much of an advantage do you feel that is? I mean, I was a great tennis player, not great tennis player. I was a tennis player and a great tennis fan. I love John McEnroe, and I always felt his left-handedness did give him an advantage. Did you feel that, or is that not so much in pickleball?
No, I definitely think being left-handed is an advantage. Look, I hate playing lefties. But the main reason, and I think this is the bigger issue, it's like it's not that we are necessary. I mean, yes, we use different parts of our brain to think and see things differently, right? That's been proven. But the biggest thing is, and everyone's like, oh, lefties, your reflexes are so good and blah, blah, blah. Okay. Who do you practice with 99% of the time? Right-handed people.
Yeah.
So it's not often that you come up against a lefty. So your speed ups, your attacks, everything is towards a righty, which sits right into my backhand.
Yeah.
So I'm going to let you believe that my hands are fast all day long, but you're just attacking the wrong spot, and nothing. I mean, it's really, really clear when I play a lefty and I do the same thing. And I'm like, oh, of course, there they are.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's the advantage only because there's less of us and
Yeah.
people play
Is
mainly
it
against
five,
righties.
5%? 5%? I read somewhere. I think it's
I
less
don't
than
know.
5%.
I mean, I'm seeing more and more lefties.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know what they're putting in the water, why more lefties are being produced, but I'm seeing definitely more lefties on the court. And in fact, I played an exhibition the other day, and then we did a round robin as well. And at one point, there was four lefties on the court, which was really, really weird. It was like, I think that's
Oh,
only ever
wow.
happened one time before. I'm like, this feels like I'm looking at things in the mirror, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, look, it's basically because there's less of us and more of you. So
Yeah.
the balls that you hit feed into our strike zone. That's all it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. I got to remember the next time I play a lefty. I hate playing lefties. I think everyone does. Yeah. And you said it yourself.
Yep. Right hip, right shoulder. Sorry, right hip, right shoulders for
That's
righties.
it.
Left hip,
That's
left
it.
shoulders for lefties. Jam
Yeah.
them.
But when you're leading up to hit that drive, you forget they're lefties. That's the trouble. Takes a few points to remember that. But anyway, that's how it is.
That is true, but that's also the fact that you're winding up to hit a drive, and the
Yeah.
sort of the ego takes over of like I'm going to
Yeah.
hit this so hard, and you
Yeah.
forget about direction and you know
Yeah.
tactical and where we're aiming.
Absolutely right. Okay, so we're senior pickleball tips, and as I mentioned to you just before we started, I'm just about to launch the Senior Pickleball Academy as well, and I
Mhm.
know you're looking at an academy as well, so we'll touch on that a bit later. Um,
Absolutely.
but we deal with sort of the very beginners, people who've never even picked up a paddle, right up to about 4.0. So bearing that in mind, I'm sorry, Lee, it's such an opportunity for us to do this that I'm going to ask you to help us out here, help out this sort of recreational and lower competitive audience of senior pickleball players. And bearing in mind we're looking at senior pickleball, I'm going to ask you to, can you give us one tip for what I call the 10 essential shots, and I'll go through them with you.
Okay.
I think this would be so helpful and it'd be great to sort of get your view on this. So let's start at the beginning. So, one tip about the serve.
Breathe. We tend to hold our breath when we hit. Well, I think that's for all shots, really, right? I think breathe applies to all of them. We tend to
Yeah.
hold our breath as we're making contact and hope the ball goes over instead of just execute the shot. But for the serve, I mean, honestly, for the serves, like don't go for too much. Get the ball in the box. Like
Yeah.
it's starting the point. Just get the ball in the box. It's
Yeah.
okay.
Sort of get the
Don't try to
bloody
hit an
thing
ace.
in. Yeah.
Yeah, don't try to hit an ace.
Okay. Return a serve.
So I would say for depending on the level, when you're just starting out, return the ball, follow the path of least resistance, hit the ball back in the direction it came from. Right.
Yeah.
Once you get comfortable doing that, and then we can work on changing direction. But like most of the time, the ball's going to follow the path of least resistance. So just hit the ball back where it came from.
Quite a few people in our group talk about the return of serve and say it's the most important shot in pickleball because it so much leads off from that. Do you agree with that?
I mean, I wouldn't say. I mean, it's definitely an important shot. I would rather miss a serve than miss a return because if I miss a return, I've just given you a point, right? You've done
Yeah.
nothing. It was an underhand serve. You've really done nothing to earn it. But I think the quality of your return can make the third shot for your opponent a little bit more, give it add pressure
Yeah.
to it. So the shorter your return, I mean, unless you're playing somebody who can't move, then you hit the return short. But then you get a
Yeah.
reputation and a name for yourself for being that
Yeah.
person. But
Yeah.
I mean, for the most part, when the return, I mean, just get the return, follow the path of least resistance. And once you're comfortable doing that, then you can start working on depth. then you can start working on direction. But I think we convolute things too much, and we try to do too much as humans and as adults too soon,
Very
because
interesting. Mm.
the bottom line is that for the naked eye, pickleball is a very basic sport. And
Yeah.
as adults, when was the last time as adults we learned something systematically? We are terrible learners, right? We conjugated sentences when, way back when. We learned our times table by memory when. When did we learn processes and systems, right? University, maybe in a new job for a new computer system or whatever. But the older we get, sorry, the more we suck at learning because
Yeah.
we function in the shoulds. I should be able to do this. I was able to do this, so I should be able to do that. Blah, and we put all these barriers up instead of just going, no, let's just keep it simple. Let's
Yeah.
just work on one
Absolutely right.
thing, master that, and add another one, and be okay approaching pickleball with a systematic approach.
Okay, let's move on. You mentioned the third shot. Now, there's a bit of debate about drop and drive. I suppose it.
Uh-oh, did you freeze? You're back.
I'm back. So sorry. I think
No,
this.
no
Well,
worries.
I think it's at my end. I'll obviously edit out the that
The freeze.
part of it, the other freeze. Um, yes. So the third shot, Lee. Give us one tip for us lower players.
Get the ball over net.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that simple. I mean, 86% of recreational points don't get past the first four balls. It's an alarming
Ah.
statistic. So get your third
Mm,
over and maybe don't rush to the kitchen right after your third. See what your ball's doing.
yeah.
I think a lot of coaches preach get to the line right away. And I'm not a believer of that. I mean, I will get to the line comfortably on my seventh.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, that's something that I just been playing 2.5 years, and that's something when I first started playing, it was third shot drop, third shot drop, get in. And that's something that's really changed just in the last 2 years. That's very, very interesting. Thank you so much. Okay. Forehand drive.
Get the ball out in front of you. Get the correct spacing. I mean, if you come from tennis, it's a lot easier.
Yeah,
If you don't come from a racket sport, the mechanics of it are a headache, but you know, trust them and master them. It's okay. But
yeah,
you're gonna
yeah.
drive way less. Like I mean, in rec also, do you need a drive? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. If the ball is nice and short, yes, but otherwise, you know,
Yeah, just get it back. I think a lot of people, again, from the tennis background, like you and I, well, certainly me, it pops up and you think, I'm just going to hit this as hard as I blooming well can. I think that
right.
that obviously is a mistake, but it's just so blooming tempting, isn't it?
Absolutely. But I think it's what's the goal, right? Um, when we want to drive, we want to hit the ball as hard as we can because we want to hit a winner. We want to do this. We want to do that. But is the goal to especially in rec when you're practicing, the goal is to get to the kitchen. The goal is to play pickleball. So work on
Yeah,
that. You know,
yeah,
a lot of times people go, oh, I can play 3-4 hours. It's amazing. Yeah, because no, like 90% of your points haven't got past ball three. You haven't moved.
yeah, that's a very good
It's
point.
like work on getting into ball five, six, and seven. Start playing pickleball because that's where the fun is up there. But if you're never getting up there, you know,
Yeah.
put
Yeah.
yourself in situations that force you to work on it. It's okay. No, there's no medals in rec play. Like no
And I
one's winning
suppose
that.
the same for the backhand, sort of backhand
Absolutely.
drive or backhand
Yeah.
cut. Just get it back and keep it rolling.
And I mean, here's the thing: if I'm playing a banger, do I want to give them something they're going to bang? No. If I'm playing someone who likes a softball, then I'll hit the ball hard. Like play to your opponent. But
Yeah.
a lot of the
Yeah.
times we don't realize we just react to balls, and I can't tell you how many times I've heard, oh, they just hit the ball too hard. Well, what about your ball was it that was allowing them to do that? Like we're very easy to place the blame across the net,
Yeah.
and we
Yeah.
forget that it's a sport of real time feedback. You're
It's a
gonna let me know
sport.
if I screwed up.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. And coming on from that, I think I was going to make the same point in a different way. It's a sport of not so much winners, just making it really awkward for your opponents. I mean, that seems to
I
be,
don't believe in hitting winners.
yeah, yeah,
I believe in
yeah,
setting up the point. Keep setting
yeah,
it up, keep setting up, keep setting up. And I remember that was my philosophy in tennis, and that's my philosophy in any tactical sport. Keep setting it up, keep setting it up. The winner presents itself because the winner was never the winner. It was what happened two or three balls earlier. But
yeah,
we panic and we were like, oh, I think I see an opening. Let's force the issue. And the worst
yeah,
thing that can happen is when we force the issue is that we make the shot. Because now in our brain, well, that worked. But then you
yeah.
miss the next 20 and you can't understand why. It's like because that shot was never there to make in the first place.
People, these are extremely wise words. Right, so volleying. What's your one main tip on volleying, Lee?
Play catch.
Expound?
Not
What do you mean by that?
We tend to swing at our volleys.
Yeah,
Just play
yeah,
catch. Go
yeah,
catch a ball. Play catch.
yeah.
Pickleball's a giant game of catch.
Good, very good. Dinks.
Hit the ball on its way down.
Yeah, yeah.
We tend to hit it on the
Okay.
rise because we panic. We don't want to move off that line. Like that line is we
Yes.
made it there. I'm like, oh, we're stuck there. We can't move. And we adjust
Yes.
our upper body instead of going, no, give yourself the correct spacing, hit the ball on the way down. You can control the arc a lot better. You can't
Goodness.
control an arc of a
Yes.
ball when the ball's on its way up.
You're so right. That is so correct. Wow, I am learning so much. Lobbing.
Don't.
Interesting. Yeah. Because
Don't.
I think
Not
at the
in
lower
seniors. As
levels, there's
seniors,
a,
I mean, if we're playing a tournament, yes, go ahead and lob at
yeah,
the right
yeah,
time. But in
yeah,
rec play, don't, because one of the
yeah,
things this irks me to no end. Look, as humans, we're very good. We've been programmed very well to do a lot of things. But the one thing we don't know how to do is move backwards. Unless you come from a tennis or a racket sports background, your backwards movement isn't good. You're moving back on your heels, your weight is backwards, you're going to tip over, wrists, head, concussion, you name it, right?
yeah,
So it's to me, when you're lobbing, know your audience.
yeah,
You
absolutely.
know,
I
if I'm playing
agree.
83-year-old Betty with two hips, why
Yeah.
would I lob her? To
Yeah.
win the
This,
point and
this,
wreck for what?
yeah, you're
To
absolutely
go
right.
down the coffee shop and brag.
Yeah, this comes out quite a lot in our group. And it's something that I always say as well. I mean, in rec play, I mean, maybe do one, but don't do more than one when you're in that situation. But if it's competitive and it's working, I suppose just keep going.
Right, but like if you're playing outside on a sunny day, on one side the sun is really bad, and
Yeah,
you're just playing for fun. Why would you
yeah,
lob?
I
Why
agree.
would you lob?
Yeah, I agree
But it's
entirely.
but it's the same as like if someone's out there who's weaker, why would you target them and bang the ball at them every single time? Like it's that's when our ego, I think, takes over, and that's when I think pickleball can get ruined, and you're ruining the experience for somebody. It's like, why do you play pickleball? Right? We're not at the Olympics. We're not out here, you know, some of us compete, but for the most part we're playing, we're weekend warriors, we're playing after work, we're playing in the mornings, whatever it is. So go out there and
Yeah,
have fun. And what brought you joy to pickleball? Then don't ruin it for somebody else, just because they're weaker or maybe can't mobility wise can't move as much. Be aware. Like don't let that ego part of yourself take over to win at all costs because I'm pretty sure it's not in the paper tomorrow and no one really cares. I mean, it's true. It's like And I think I mean, I know I forget about that a lot because the world that I'm in, you have a bad match and you're like, oh my God, my world is over. And it's like, no one cares. You look in the paper the next day, no one's like, Leewhitwell got her ass kicked. You know,
Yeah,
nobody cares.
yeah,
We live in this bubble that no one outside of the bubble cares about. So in rec, just don't ruin it for everybody. You can get a good workout no matter who you're playing with.
yeah. I completely agree with you. But just get through this. There's the smash. So ball goes up. I suppose it's precision over power again. Would you say for seniors?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm always like, placement over power always.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
again, don't hit the person in front of you. Like, don't be that person. Just
yeah,
don't. It's
yeah,
not worth it. Like that one point, that side out, is not worth it.
yeah,
Now
yeah,
if you're playing against me, for sure, go at it. I'm fine with that. Right? Know
yeah,
your audience. But if I'm playing my mom, am I going to take her out on a smash just because, my dad threw up a terrible lob? No, I'm
yeah,
not going to do
yeah,
that. That would be fair to my mom.
yeah.
Um,
Absolutely.
but
And then, sorry, go on.
no, no, no. Go ahead. That was it. It's just it's knowing your audience. That's the biggest thing.
And then the last of these 10 shots, the reset shot, which is a shot that people at the sort of lower levels we have problems with. I'm starting to nail this, the reset shot. But what would be your main bit of advice about it?
Paddle out in front. You
Yeah,
can't reset with a paddle here because that we tend to pop up. You just need to be out in front. Again, play catch,
yeah,
soft hands. Think of the egg toss.
absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Okay, just sort of one more question about the game itself. This comes from Mike in Ontario. And he writes this. I think you might have covered some of this already, Lee. When you step onto the court against someone who is younger, faster, and maybe hits the ball harder, what mental edge or tactical insight do you rely on that they might not even realize you're using?
Um, I mean, the biggest thing, honestly, is using your court awareness and angles. It's like I don't care if you're younger and faster than me. Are you tactically smarter than me? If you're tactically smarter than me, then I'm in trouble. But just because you're younger and faster shouldn't pose a threat if you're tactically smarter, right?
Yeah,
Because people
yeah,
on the run tend not to pay attention to the shots they're hitting. They're just purely reacting if you keep
yeah,
them on the run. So, I mean, a lot of it is like be tactically smarter and just place the ball. And I mean, I remember this is going back to last century, when I was playing the old guys at my tennis club and they beat my doubles partner and I. And I remember
yeah,
coming off the court and going, Mom, this isn't tennis. This is horrible. Blah, blah, blah. I can't believe they did that. This was the worst. And she said, well, what do you mean it's not tennis? You were on a tennis court. Oh,
yeah,
they just lobbed and they just pushed the ball and they made us run. And then it was just, and it was like, it's not fair. 10-year-old me. But it's like the minute they had us on the run, we were purely reacting to the ball and giving the, and like I said earlier, the ball follows the path of least resistance. So if I'm on the run and not paying attention, just running to the ball and hitting it, I'm going to hit it back to where it came from. And
yeah,
back to where it came from is right into that person's strike zone. I'm hitting it right back
yeah,
to them with one or two steps that they might have to take. And then they hit the other ball and I'm running away and you just hit it back because we're so
yeah,
focused on getting to the ball, we're not thinking about where we're putting the ball.
yeah,
So
yeah,
that was a very eye-opening experience for me. And then that's one that I was like, well, they did it to me. How can I do it to everybody else? So that's sort of what I've taken. And look, I mean, if anyone's seen me play, I'm like the fastest slow person you've ever seen. It's like the tortoise and the hare and me, I win.
You're being modest, but go
No,
on.
no, no, no,
Yes.
no.
Yeah.
But it's very much I want to command the point and I want to make sure that whatever happens, I'm getting the ball that I want back. So if I'm
Yeah.
stressing you out, then I'm going to get the ball back that I
Yeah.
want. right?
Yeah.
And I think when you're playing younger and faster, that's what you gotta, you know, your wisdom has to kick in and not get overwhelmed by
Yeah.
how hard or how fast they move.
I hate to say this, but I'm 67 at the moment, and about a good 10 years ago, I remember I was that senior player who was beating the juniors by dropping them and bringing in the net and lobbing them and spinning them, and they hated me for it. But yeah, hopefully they learned a little bit. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah. Lee, that's absolutely brilliant. Right, I just want to now just sort of move away from the sort of mechanics of pickleball. Now, you have this wonderful organization called Game Changer Events with your friend and business partner, Angela Farmer. Tell us
Yes.
about it. What is it? And it sounds absolutely wonderful. Some, to focus on girls and women, I think, with in pickleball.
Absolutely. So, because I mean it's no secret pickleball changed my life, right? And I was looking at the market and always I'm because I play pickleball, I've built clubs, I consult for clubs, I've done it all, right? And there was a gap in the I'd say the 40 plus area.
Yeah,
And it's like where does this person fit? Where do they belong? And especially for the 40 plus women, like what we do, 60% of what we do is women only, 40% is co-ed. We do definitely don't discriminate. But it's more geared towards your older student, where it's like just come have fun, come to one of our events, and leave with great memories, new friends, strengthened
that's
old friendships,
important. New friends is
and
always important.
yes, and and hopefully your game's a little bit better. But I always say to everybody whenever I do a bunch of TED talks and things, and I always one of the questions I always ask when I'm talking about pickleball is, how many people in your phone do you have first or last name pickleball?
Yeah, yes.
And that
Yeah.
is eye opening. You got Pickleball Dave, and you got Breakfast Pickleball Group, and you got Pickleball Karen, and it's like, the list goes on. And I think in our 40s, like as we get older, we're told our friendship circle shrinks. And if you can count on one hand people you can call, then
Yeah.
you're extremely lucky. And I think pickleball has amplified that. Pickleball has expanded our circle at a time in our life when our social circle is supposed to shrink. So that is one of the reasons we founded Game Changer Events. And I pulled Angela out of retirement, and I said, "Look, I think there's something here." And she's like, "Damn it, you're right. Fine, let's do this." So
Interesting.
we've done this, and we've it's exploded, and we've been fortunate to travel all over, meet amazing people, and just from there, yeah, like I told you earlier, I was like, look, I need to. Me on the court, we can only reach so many people on the court. Let's create this online platform where, we can people can still feel like they're a part of it, no matter where in the world they are. And then it turned into. Then one day I was like, wait a minute, pickleball is pretty interesting, and that's when I wrote my book, The Third Space Effect, and talked about what pickleball has done for us. Like if you read my book, like it's a short read. It's 40 minutes of your life you're never going to get back, but your game won't get better. But hopefully you'll understand the psychology of pickleball and what it does for us.
Okay, well, we'll definitely mention that in the show notes so people can go to the show notes and check out that book. So that's fantastic. Thank
Absolutely.
you.
It is on
Thank
Amazon,
you.
so you can get it.
There you go.
Shameless plug.
Um, okay, it's just a bit of a serious question here. Is there is there much misogyny in pickleball? Is it because I'll share you a story. Senior pickleball tips, I told you we're 136,000, but when we were about just over 50,000, there were quite a lot of men who were just not being very nice. And I got a few PMs, private messages from women members, sort of saying, "Look, this is just isn't right. This isn't right." And we looked at them more carefully. And my brother and Terry and my brother Terry helps me run the Facebook group. We just made a huge decision, and we just basically banned about 35 men. And they were sort of, mansplaining, and it just really wasn't very nice. And I suppose unfortunately, this is sort of in the world and it's probably in every sphere in the world. But are you finding it? I mean, the pickleball community's known to be a fairly nice one. I suspect even in the professional world. Is there much misogyny still floating around?
Sadly, I think so, but it happens more at the rec level. Um, and it's funny. I did an event. I'm up in Vancouver, Canada right now, and I did an event at Fairgrounds for International Women's Day. And then
Right.
we did a 2 hour on court and then a 30-minute Q&A. And we were talking about different things. And one of the questions that was asked, and I'm like, well, we've all been in a position, and somebody goes, yes, we've been mansplained a ton, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh no. And I do think, look, it's like there's always people are very well intentioned. I can't I have a hard time thinking that people are ill-willed. No one gets up in the morning thinking I'm gonna ruin someone's day by telling them what they're doing wrong on their dink. I mean, if they are, then please don't show up to my court. But I think that it's the way it's presented, the way it comes across is incorrect.
Yeah.
You know, like I play. I'll go and play rec, and Angela, my partner, she's a 4-0. We'll go play. I'll play with her, and we'll have fun, and we'll do whatever, and I'll jump in wherever. And I won't ever, ever, ever coach somebody. This is not my job. I'm out there to play. Now, if you ask the question, oh, what do you think about this? I'll give you my opinion. The
Yeah.
problem is that opinions are given without being solicited.
Yes.
And that
Yes.
creates that circle. And then it's misconstrued and it's taken wrongly, you know. So, and I think that exacerbates everything. But there are a few that like to go out there and tell you exactly what you're doing wrong or why and what you should be doing on the court. But I think for the most part, it's just misconstrued and it's just not asked for, but it's given anyway. And it's not, the problem is, I think the person giving the advice is not ill intended. They're
Yeah.
trying to be helpful, but it hasn't been asked for, so but they give it anyway. That's the problem.
Yeah. I mean, we at Senior Pickleball Tips, we kind of talk about sort of 99% lovely pickleball people, but you still have that 1%, who sometimes have a different agenda, which is not really on the pickleball court. But I think we just all have to deal with it as best we can, and I think the communication's the key. So thank you, Lee. That was a real insight. Fantastic. Well, look, thank you so much. I've got one more question, but I'm just gonna throw this at you. Do
Okay, throw
you
it.
do you have a pickleball joke or a pickleball story that you found quite amusing recently at
I
all?
mean, I have my dumb blonde pickleball joke, right? Which is like, what do you call a what do you call a dumb blonde in the middle of a pickleball court?
Go on.
A net.
Oh
I
no.
know, right? It's so
That
bad.
is that is
Um,
so bad. That's
yes.
so bad. I
I
was
mean, look, the most amusing story I have in pickleball, and it happened to me like last week. I was playing with some friends rec, and it was an 8-person round robin, and then I ended up playing in the court with a lefty. And he looks at me and he goes, "We should probably stack." I'm like, okay. And I was thinking, stupid me, that I'd be on the right because I'm the lefty. He put me on the right. He put me on the
Did he know?
left.
So he didn't know who you were.
Not only did he not know who I was, he didn't even know I was also left-handed. Like the whole thing, I mean, it was so comical. And afterwards he goes, I feel like a fool. And I'm like, it's fine. He's like, you just didn't even say anything. I'm like, why? I'm not going to say anything. I'm like, sure, we'll stack. I don't mind. I'm here to have fun. It's not
Yeah.
about me.
Yeah.
But he was like, poor guy was mortified, but it was just like one of those things. But a lot of it is like, just take it in stride and off you go and find the funny. Like you have to find the humor in everything you do.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Now, you were talking before we started this episode of the podcast about are you thinking of starting an academy? Did I hear you correctly?
You did. I am starting
Oh,
Academy.
oh. Tell us
Um,
about it.
I look, it's the biggest reason I want to start an academy is I want to make pickleball affordable and accessible to everybody all over the world. Um, it's no secret what pickleball's done for my life and how it's enriched it 55 million ways. But I do think also that there is a lot of, this is where I'm going to get trouble. There's a lot of bad coaching and a lot of bad advice out there.
Yeah.
So I want to change that. So I started the Leewhitwell Academy under Game Changer events. And in there's two pathways. There's a player development pathway, and there's also a coaching pathway to be a better coach. Because I think that people, just because the problem right now is the perception is because you're a good pickleball player, then you must be a good coach, right? And that's not necessarily true. They're not, they're not interchangeable. They're not synonymous. And
I agree.
if
Yeah.
you look at the great football coaches, basketball coaches, cricket coaches, you name it, were they the top of their sport? Some of them were, but the majority were not. So I want to change that. And so we created, different pathways for the kind of coach you want to be. And I'm not saying a 3-5 player can't be a good learn to play coach. You can be a very good learn to play coach, but it's also understanding your limitations and where your boundaries are and
Yeah.
be okay passing those people on to the next level of coach, whatever it may be. And then on the player side too, is like, look, I'm a big believer of keeping pickleball simple. In my academy, I just want to do simple tips and tricks that work for me, and I will never ever put something out there that I've never done or don't actively do myself on the court. So it's helped me, so I'm hoping it'll help everybody else.
Well, that's phenomenal. And if you have the link to that, let me know, and we'll put it on the show notes. I don't know whether you've launched that yet, but
It
we'll
hasn't
keep a
launched yet,
close.
but hopefully, yeah, hopefully in the next 30 to 45 days it'll
Good,
launch.
good, absolutely
Yeah.
fantastic.
And if there's
And all,
anything you want me to cover in my academy, please let me know. I'll be gladly do it.
absolutely brilliant. And as we mentioned before, Senior Pickleball is also launching an academy. So
Love
there
it.
we go. Oh my word.
We'll have to
Focusing
collab on some
on,
things.
we're going to have to, is that an American thing? Collab. We're going to have to collab.
Yeah, like a collaboration.
Yeah,
I've been in the
collaboration.
States too long.
You have. You've
We're
been
gonna
in the
have to
States too
partner up and
long.
work together on a few things. How's
Yeah,
that?
I would love that. I would love that. I
Excellent.
really would. Yeah, let's do that. I mean, there is like a Venn diagram. We deal with seniors, you deal with all kinds of people, maybe with a focus on women and girls. There's going to be lots of stuff in the middle of that Venn diagram that we can collab on, Lee. Let's
Absolutely.
collab.
We will
Okay,
collab.
we will collab.
And maybe we'll do something live at the English Open.
I would love that. That's in Birmingham,
Hey,
apparently. Is that
I
right?
know, I saw the announcement. So I think
Okay,
like 10 minutes from the airport. So
good. I will see you there. Now,
look forward to it.
listen, I've just got to say one thing. Thank you, Lee. Thank you so much. You were on the top of my list of people to talk to and have an episode on the podcast. And as the 50th episode, so I'm absolutely thrilled. So many, many thanks. I know your time is very precious, so I really, really appreciate that. So thanks a lot.
No, I love it. Thanks for having me. And I'm glad to be on the 50th episode because, 50 is the age of senior pickleball here in the States. So
Hey
boom,
ho, it is.
it's meant
Boom.
to be.
Okay, jolly good. Thanks so much, Lee.
Thank you very much.